We begin with a new chapter, chapter number 7, heat transfer. Please stop writing. In any medium and in vacuum, heat energy can be transferred from one to another point. Such a transfer of heat energy in practice is found to be taking place through three different media, three different modes. Heat is conducted in different media and in vacuum by three different modes. There are three different types of heat transfer. One is known as conduction, one is known as convection, and third one is known as radiation. Heat conduction, heat convection, and heat radiation. They are the three different modes of heat transfer. Okay? In solids, heat is conducted majority by the mode known as heat conduction in solids. In liquids, by mode of heat convection. In gases and in vacuum, heat is conducted by mode known as heat radiation. Okay? Let us see one by one. Today we will understand about heat conduction. What do you mean by heat conduction? Look. To understand about heat conduction, you just consider a metallic rod. We have covered its walls with the help of a layer of wax. So wax layer is deposited on the surface, cylindrical wall. Okay. Then after we have fixed certain pins inside this wax layer, in number 1, 2, 3. Then what we do? We put some burning candle here, and then it is a source of heat. So what will happen? This part of the rod will be heated first, and so after some time this part of the wax will get melted, and then this pin will fall down. After some more time, this pin will fall down, and after still some more time, finally this pin also falls down. Tell me, why this pin has fallen down? Because this part of the wax must have been melted. Why? Because heat energy must have reached over here. Actually, you are supplying heat energy at one end, and that heat energy flows and it reaches the another end of the rod and melting the wax in that part, and then pin is falling down. Correct? But such a flow of energy takes place only because of temperature difference. Only because of temperature difference. If you do not have any temperature difference, then you cannot have such a flow of energy. This flow of energy takes place because of temperature difference. Such a flow of energy between two adjacent parts of a body because of temperature difference is only known as heat conduction. A flow of energy between two adjacent parts of a body because of temperature difference is called heat conduction. Speak out with me. A flow of energy, everybody.
A flow of energy
between two adjacent parts of a body.
between two adjacent parts of a body
Because of temperature difference
because of temperature difference
is called heat conduction.
is called heat conduction.
Simple. Which particles take part in the process of heat conduction? Which particles? Molecules, atoms, ions, free electrons. Molecules, atoms, ions,
Free electrons.
they take part in the process of heat conduction. As in every substance there are molecules, atoms, ions, In metal also there are molecules, atoms, ions. But in addition to these all constituent particles, in metals it has plenty of free electrons. Plenty of because number of heat carriers is maximum in metal. What you know what metals can do? They can conduct the heat energy by mode of heat conduction very fast, by very large amount, and that too very easily. Metals conduct heat maximum, fast and easily. Maximum, fast and easily. That's why metals are good conductors of heat. Metals are good conductors of heat. Among all the metals, remember silver has maximum thermal conductivity. Silver has maximum thermal conductivity. So silver is the best conductor of heat. And just for your kind knowledge, you will study in third semester. Silver is also the best conductor of electricity also. So silver is the best conductor of both heat as well as electricity. Okay? Fine. Look here now. Consider a rectangular solid. Rectangular solid. This is the shape. You can consider rectangular solid. Okay? Now here, in this rectangular solid, I have taken two parallel cross sections. This and this. They are parallel. Okay? Now all the cross sections have same area. Let it be capital A. Here this end suppose is kept at higher temperature. So we treat it as a hot end, and this end which is at lower temperature, it is cold end. As you move from hot to cold end, naturally temperature will decrease. That's why here I have taken higher temperature, low, T plus delta T, and compared to this, here temperature is less, let it be T. So what is the temperature difference between these two planes? Temperature difference is delta T. Okay? Then here, between these two planes, the perpendicular distance is delta x. Okay? What is change in x coordinate? Delta x. What is change in temperature? Delta T. Fine. Where the heat energy will flow from high temperature to low temperature. This is high temperature here. This is low temperature. So heat energy will flow from high to low temperature this way. Amount of heat conducted between these two parallel planes perpendicular to the planes in time delta T is suppose delta Q. Remember, small t is time and capital T is temperature. Don't get confused between two t's. Come on. One small t is time, another is capital T which is temperature. Small t means time, capital T means temperature. What this ratio indicates? Amount of heat energy flowing perpendicular to the two parallel planes in time delta T. So this ratio will indicate amount of heat energy conducted per unit time. Practically we find that such amount of heat energy is directly proportional to cross-sectional area. Don't say simply area, say cross-section area. There are two types of areas. Surface area, cross-section area. Surface area, cross-section area. When I say the surface area, means total surface area of all the six faces. That is total surface area. When I say cross-section area, it will depend on how you are taking the cross-section. If I am cutting this slab this way, then this is the cross-section area. Okay? If I cut it this way, then this is the cross-section area. Okay? So here which area comes into picture? Cross-sectional area. Okay? Not surface area, but cross-section area. Then this amount of heat conducted per unit time is also directly proportional to temperature difference. Temperature difference between these two planes is delta T. It is inversely proportional to the perpendicular separation between the two parallel planes. It is inversely proportional to delta x. So I am writing 1 upon delta x. 1 upon delta x. Take multiplication on right hand side. Multiplication on right hand side. This into this into this. A into delta T upon delta x. A into delta T upon delta x. Remove sign of proportionality. Put some proportionality constant small k. Rest of the part as it is. but without fail you must write minus sign, because when you move towards right hand side, say in the direction of heat conduction, then as you move from this plane to this plane, come on, there is increase in x coordinate. There is increase in
X coordinate.
because this is positive x-axis, and because there is increase in x coordinate as you move from this plane to this plane, this delta x is positive. Delta x is positive. Change in x coordinate is positive because x coordinate is increasing. But when you move from here to here, temperature decreases. Because temperature decreases, this change in temperature is negative. And so we require to place here additional negative sign so that minus minus will become plus. Right hand side you must make positive because left hand side is positive. Left hand side is got it. What about small k? It is proportionally constant here, but in physics we have given it a specific name. It is called thermal conductivity. What is it called?
Thermal conductivity.
Or sometimes we call it coefficient of thermal conductance. Coefficient of thermal
conductance.
That's word is not there in the textbook. In textbook they use this word thermal conductivity. Thermal
Conductivity.
fine. Its value depends on two factors: type of material of this solid substance, and it depends on temperature. Depends on
Temperature.
type of material, temperature. Type of material.
Temperature.
Now suppose I am taking these two limits into consideration, what will happen, tell me. If I am taking delta x tends to 0, then what do you mean by delta x tending to 0? You are going to consider these two planes very close to each other, very look. These two planes are very close to each other. The perpendicular distance between them I am just taking tending to 0. So I am going to consider two almost adjacent planes, and between two planes which are lying very close to each other, temperature difference also will be very small. Will be? So temperature difference is tending to 0. Time for the heat conduction, suppose I am taking tending to 0. Tending to
0.
naturally the time for the heat conduction itself is very small, then very small amount of heat will be conducted, so delta Q also tends to 0. Come on, delta Q also tends to 0. In short, all the four quantities are infinitesimal small, you can say differentially small, then in the language of calculus, same equation you may write this way. Look at the format. Instead of delta Q upon delta T, what have we done? dQ upon dt. Say
Quantity.
minus Ka. Instead of delta T upon delta S, what have we written here? dt by dx. Say. Now this equation will be repeatedly used in the chapter, so you please remember. dQ by dt equals to minus Ka dt by dx. dQ by dt equals to minus Ka.
dt by dx.
Now this dQ by dt we have given a special name. dQ by dt is called heat flow or heat current. Heat flow or
Heat current.
heat flow or
Heat current.
wait. Heat flow or heat current. It is dQ by dt. It is nothing but time rate of flow of heat energy. Time rate of flow of
heat energy.
time rate of flow of
Heat energy.
is called heat flow or heat current. What about its unit? It is energy upon time. Say
Energy upon time.
if this heat energy, suppose you are taking in joule and this time you are taking in second, then joule upon second. Joule upon second is nothing but watt. Say
Watt.
or if you are taking this heat energy in calorie, suppose you may write calorie upon second. You may write.
Calorie upon second.
What about this dt by ds? dt by ds is called temperature gradient. Temperature.
Gradient.
Temperature.
Gradient.
And what is it? Time, rate of change of temperature. Rate of change of
Temperature.
with respect to distance. With respect to
Distance.
along the direction of heat conduction. Along the direction of
Heat conduction.
is known as temperature gradient. Temperature.
Gradient.
Rate of change of temperature with respect to distance along the direction of heat conduction is called, come on, temperature gradient. Temperature.
Gradient.
What about unit? Unit of temperature upon distance. Unit of temperature is Kelvin. In SI unit system, Kelvin. And what about distance? Meter. So Kelvin upon meter. Say.
Kelvin upon meter.
Say.
Kelvin upon meter.
And now find out small k from here. Find out dQ by dt upon A into minus dt by dx. Here it is. K equals to, come on, dQ by dt upon A into minus dt by dx. I want to define thermal conductivity. Look, take A equal to 1 meter square. Take dt by dx equals to minus 1 Kelvin upon meter. Put these two values here. This is 1, this is minus 1, minus minus plus. 1 into 1, that is 1. So this whole denominator has become 1. So K equals to dq by dt. Come on, K equals to?
dq by dt.
Now based upon this, you can define thermal conductivity this way. Amount of heat current. Amount of
Heat current
obtained perpendicularly. Obtained
perpendicularly
between two parallel planes.
between two parallel planes
Considered in a given solid substance at a given temperature.
solid substance in a given temperature
Having
having
unit cross section area
unit cross section area
and having unit temperature gradient
and having unit temperature gradient
is called.
is called
The amount of heat current is called thermal conductivity of that substance at that temperature. For that substance at that
temperature.
I repeat. Amount of heat current obtained perpendicularly between two parallel planes considered in a given solid body at a given temperature per unit cross section area and per unit temperature gradient is called thermal conductivity of that solid body at that temperature. Once again, the amount of heat current obtained perpendicularly
Obtained perpendicularly
between two parallel planes
between two parallel planes
considered in a given solid body at a given temperature
considered in a given solid body at a given temperature
per unit cross section area
per unit cross section area
and per unit temperature gradient
and per unit temperature gradient
is called
is called
thermal conductivity of that solid body at that temperature is called thermal conductivity of shown by symbol small k. What about unit? Look, unit of area meter square, unit of distance meter, so 1 meter is getting cancelled. Unit temperature Kelvin, the second will come down. Calorie upon meter Kelvin second. Calorie upon
meter Kelvin second
look, calorie upon meter Kelvin second. Calorie upon
meter Kelvin second.
correct. Obtain now dimensional equation from this. Okay, right now. Unit of thermal conductivity. Right now. Unit of thermal conductivity. Unit of thermal conductivity is right down this way. Calorie upon meter Kelvin second. Small m small s but capital K. Calorie upon meter Kelvin second. Calorie upon meter Kelvin second. Small m capital K small s. Full stop. Find its dimensional formula. Find its dimensional formula. I am telling you the dimensional formula. Don't forget then. Look, calorie, heat, energy means work. M raised to 1, L raised to 2, T raised to minus 2. Wait. Meter, L raised to 1. Kelvin, K raised to 1. Second, E raised to 1. Simplify. M raised to 1, L raised to 2, T raised to minus 2 upon L raised to 1, K raised to 1, T raised to 1. Simplify. M raised to 1, L raised to 1, T raised to minus 3 and K raised to minus 1. K raised to correct. That becomes the dimensional formula for thermal conductivity. Now stop writing. Look. For value of K, remember, if it is very large, it is said to be low here, good conductor of it. It is said to be
Good conductor of it.
Speak conversely, if value of K is very small, it is said to be bad conductor or poor conductor or insulator of heat. For example, which are the insulators of heat? Glass, say,
Glass,
rubber,
rubber,
plastic, mica, asbestos,
asbestos,
then paraffin,
paraffin,
wax,
wax,
paper.
paper.
These all substances are bad conductors of heat. Got it? When thermal conductivity of any solid body can be taken as constant, very simple. When K can be taken as constant, remember, when temperature difference between two adjacent parts of a body is not very large, then its thermal conductivity can be taken constant. Can be taken
constant.
when temperature difference between two adjacent parts of a body is not very large, then its thermal conductivity can be taken as constant. Simple. Now we go for another article, very important. Throughout the chapter you will make use of this formula, so please try to understand. What is called steady thermal state? Steady thermal state. Consider a metallic rod, correct, whose walls are covered by some insulating material. When you just make it covered by insulating material, you know what will happen? Whenever there is a flow of heat energy inside, that heat energy will not be getting radiated outside through the walls. So just to minimize the heat loss, we just make it covered with insulated walls. Okay? We say in physics, it has been made thermally isolated. Thermally isolated. There is no exchange of heat energy between this system and surrounding through the walls. Okay? Fine. Now the two ends are open. One end we keep in contact with a substance whose temperature is higher and constant equal to T1. That substance is known as heat source. From which this rod is going to absorb the heat. Another end is kept in contact with that substance whose constant temperature is T2 and is smaller than T1. It is smaller than T1. Such a substance into which heat will be delivered, it is called heat sink. Here is a body at a temperature T1, here is a body at temperature T2. Both the temperatures we consider constant. Higher temperature body is called heat source, low temperature body is called heat sink. What will happen now? From this high temperature body, this rod will absorb the heat. And that heat energy will be conducted by the rod by mode of and ultimately that heat energy will be delivered into this heat sink. Okay? You have to do one thing at some fixed time interval. Say every 10 minutes. You are supposed to measure the temperatures of these different cross sections, and then after you are supposed to measure, you are supposed to plot a graph of, look here, temperature versus distance from hot end. What you should do? You should plot a graph of temperature versus distance. At the end of first 10 minutes, when you measure the temperatures of these different cross sections, and then after when you plot the graph comes out to be like this. Look here, this way. This is the graph. Shown with the green color. What does it mean? The temperature of this cross section is this much. Temperature of this cross section is this much. Correct? Temperature of this cross section is this much. For this much, and for this much. Got it? Temperature of this cross section is T1. Temperature of this cross section is T2. Allow another 10 minutes to go. Again plot the graph. You will get the graph like this. Look. Shown with the orange color. Allow another 10 minutes to go. Then graph is like blue colored. Correct? Tell me, what have you noticed? Temperatures at the ends are constant. But intermediate temperatures are increasing. From this limit to this, from this to this. From this to this, from this to this. From this to this, from this to this. Intermediate temperatures have been raised. And what happens to the nature of the graph? Shape of the graph. The curvature decreases. Curvature. As time passes on, curvature decreases. Theoretically speaking, what can be the maximum time you can ever pass? Theoretically, infinite time. Say infinite time. So at the end of infinite time, what should happen? Curvature should become zero. When curvature is zero, graph should be straight line. That's why I am showing here low straight line. Correct? That straight line graph is obtained at time t equal to infinity. Fine. Whenever any graph is a straight line, its slope is constant. It's a for a graph of y versus x, for a graph of what is the slope? dy by dx. Say for a graph of t versus x, what should be slope? dt by dx. What should be slope? But because the graph is a straight line, the slope should be but slope is right now dt by dx and it is constant. But what is dt by dx? dt by dx is nothing but temperature gradient. dt by dx is nothing but temperature gradient. And that has become constant. Temperature gradient has become constant. So what? Look here. In this equation, these two already are constants. And moreover, just now you have said that this temperature gradient has become constant. So this is also constant now. These were already constant. Multiplication of three constants will give you new constant. So this heat flow also will become constant. Heat flow or heat current has become constant. What do you mean by heat current becoming constant? Amount of heat flowing through each cross section will be same and constant. Same and constant. That's why I am showing you same length of the arrow. Look here. All these arrows have same length. Correct? Just to indicate that amount of heat flowing through each cross section in given time interval, it is same. It is same. Correct? So heat flow has become constant. Such a typical state of this rod in which it has achieved temperature gradient constant and the heat flow also has become constant. Such a state is known as steady thermal state. Steady thermal state. A state of a body in which temperature gradient and heat flow have become constant with time the state is called steady thermal state. State is called steady thermal state. Not attending, everybody is not attending so well. Just involve yourself, please. Are you all here?
Yes, sir.
Attending on the board?
Yes, sir.
Thinking for the same?
Yes, sir.
A state of a body in which temperature gradient and heat flow have become constant with time is called steady thermal state. Is called
Steady thermal state.
Okay. In addition to these two features, which are other features which are noteworthy? You must note these points now. Look. Generally, it so happens when you supply heat to any body, what that heat will do? It will raise the temperature of the body. It will raise the
Temperature of the body.
But once this body has achieved steady thermal state between two fixed temperatures, then after infinite amount of heat you may pass. No problem. That heat will simply pass only. It will simply flow only. Nowhere heat is stored. Nowhere heat is getting accumulated, and that's why temperature of that any part is not increasing. Is not increasing. See, at the end of infinite time, what has happened? Temperatures of all the cross sections have become constant with time. Constant temperature of this cross section is this much. For this it 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 is this much. Okay? Temperatures of all the planes have become constant with time. Now there is no further increase in the temperature. So after the body has achieved steady thermal state, whatever amount of heat you may supply to it, it will simply flow. It will simply flow. It will not be getting accumulated anywhere. It will not be getting stored anywhere. It will continue to flow. It will continue to flow. Conduction continues, storage stops. Conduction continues,
Storage stops.
and one more thing. In this state, whatever amount of heat energy is absorbed by the rod through hot and from heat source in a given time, same amount of heat is delivered by the rod through cold and into the heat sink in the same time. In the
Same time.
Such a typical state is known as steady thermal state. Got it? Now in textbook they have taken granted that in steady thermal state, they have taken granted dq by dt equals to q by d. dq by dt equals to
Q by D.
But how to get it? I am showing you. In steady thermostat now, amount of heat flowing through any cross section, it depends only on time. It depends
only on time.
Q is proportional to T. Q is
Proportional to T.
less time, less heat, more time, more heat. Everybody, less time,
Less heat, more time, more heat.
remove sign of proportionality. Okay, put some proportionality constant. Sigma, say,
Sigma.
say,
Sigma.
find out Q upon T. Take this T down. So Q upon T will be how much? Q upon T will be how much?
Sigma.
And now take d by dt here in this equation. Take Q by dt I have written sigma as it is because it is constant. D by dt of t. D by dt of t is 1. So sigma into 1 is sigma. And now tell me, take Q by dt equals to sigma and Q by t is also sigma. Right hand sides are? Right hand sides are? So left hand sides also must be? Take Q by dt must be equal to Q by t. Q by dt must be equal to?
Q by T.
If your friend is asking to you, don't explain this way. Just give one slap. Yeah, you are a foolish one. D ones are D. D ones are D. So dq by dt will be D ones are D. You have come to know about the reason, correct? Now tell me, in steady thermostat dq by dt equals to? But what is dq by dt? What is dq by dt? Minus Ka dt by dx. Everybody?
Minus Ka dt by dx.
Now this dq by dt can be replaced by q by t. This can be replaced by
Q by T.
minus Ka as it is. What is dt? Difference in temperature. Difference in?
Temperature.
Difference in?
Temperature.
What do you mean by dx? Corresponding difference in x coordinates.
Corresponding difference in x coordinates.
Suppose I am taking temperature difference between these two ends this way. T1 minus T2. Everybody?
T1 minus T2.
Then corresponding difference in x coordinates I should take, come on, x1 minus x2. Everybody?
X1 minus x2.
If somebody wants to take this temperature difference here, suppose T2 minus T1, no problem. Here you should take x2 minus x2. But here I am taking T1 minus T2, so I am taking here x1 minus x2. Now minus Ka as it is, T1 minus T2 as it is. What is x1? X1 is, x1 is, x1 is, and x2 is. Come on, minus will become, minus will become Ka T1 minus T2 upon L. Everybody, Ka
T1 minus T2 upon L.
minus has become plus Ka T1 minus T2 upon L. But now transfer this T here. Right? If you want only amount of heat energy, you should transfer this time over here. So this T has come over here. Speak out the whole formula. Q equals to Ka T1 minus T2 upon L into T. Give me identification of each quantity. What is Q? Amount of heat energy. What is small k? Thermal. What about capital A? Area of cross section. Area of? What about T1 minus T2? Temperature difference. Temperature. This is temperature of heat source. This is temperature of heat sink. Bigger minus smaller temperature. Bigger minus? Higher minus lower. Higher minus? What about capital L? Length of the rod. Say?
Length of the rod.
T is the given time. T is the got it? And now this dq by dt is also q by t. Now onwards we will show it by symbol capital H. Capital which is also called heat current. Heat come on, heat flow is also known as heat current. Heat flow is also known as but heat current is shown by symbol capital H. Shown by symbol come on, in steady thermostat dq by dt equals to q by t and both of them can be taken equal to H. So now instead of q by t I am putting H. I am putting come on, put it. H equals to Ka T1 minus T2 upon L. H equals to
Ka T1 minus T2 upon L.
wait. Transfer this K into A in the denominator. Denominators. H as it is. T1 minus T2 as it is. L as it is. This term from the numerator I just transfer it into denominator. Can I do that? Can I do that? Correct. And now tell me, this T1 minus T2 as it is, and this bracketed term, I just replace it by another symbol RH. I mean to say, look, heat resistance. Heat resistance. Then you may wonder, where now this resistance has come? From where? I am showing you. In third semester you study about Ohm's law. You study about
Ohm's law.
And there you study about not heat current. You study about electric current. You study about
Electric current.
There it is not temperature difference. There it is potential difference. There it is.
Potential difference.
The way here it is electric current. Here it is heat current. The way here it is electric potential difference. Here it is temperature difference. So when it comes here resistance, here it is electrical resistance, then this term also must be compared with resistance. But because you are talking about heat conduction, we have given the name heat resistance. Say.
Heat resistance.
So now this term is nothing but heat resistance. Okay. What is the formula? RH equals to L upon Ka. RH equals to
L upon K.
RH equals to
L upon K.
And also transfer this RH here, transfer this H down. RH will be everybody T1 minus T2 upon H. Everybody.
T1 minus T2 upon H.
And now from this you can find out the unit of this very easily. Otherwise you can write the units of all this, then you can simplify. Better to go for writing unit from this formula. It will become very easy. Unit of temperature difference. Everybody. Kelvin. Say.
Kelvin.
Unit of heat flow. Unit of
Heat flow.
heat flow, heat current is nothing but energy upon time. Everybody?
Energy upon time.
So joule upon second. Say.
Joule upon second.
But joule upon second is also known as watt. Also known as
Watt.
I repeat. For temperature difference, what is the unit? Kelvin. What about H? H equals to Q by T. H equals to
Q by T.
energy upon time.
Energy upon time.
Unit of energy.
Joule.
Unit of time.
Second.
Joule upon second is also known as.
Watt.
So unit of thermal resistance or heat resistance is Kelvin upon watt. Kelvin upon
Watt.
What about dimensional formula? For this, if you want dimensional formula, just put it in such a bracket. Then come on, for Kelvin it is K raised to 1. This is for Joule, it is work. M raised to 1, L raised to 2, T raised to minus 2. And this second I have written here T raised to 1. And now let it go, let every term be go, and just go up. Let every term be transferred in the numerator. Come on, M raised to 1 going here in the numerator will become M raised to minus 1. L raised to 2 going up will become L raised to
Minus 2.
this T raised to 1 going here will become T raised to minus 2 minus 1, that is minus 3. Still going in the numerator it will become T raised to plus 3, and here it is K raised to 1. M raised to minus 1, L raised to minus 2, T raised to 3, K raised to 1. This is the dimensional formula for thermal resistance or heat resistance. Okay? Read the statement of sum number 1. We have a rod of length 25 centimeter lying in a steady thermostat having temperatures at the two ends. Higher temperature is 100 degrees centigrade, lower temperature is 0 degrees centigrade. Higher temperature we show by symbol T1, T1 greater than T2. So let this be T1 and let this be T2. What we are asked to find out? Three quantities. First is temperature gradient, second is amount of heat flow, and third is temperature at distance 18 centimeter from hot end. Let us find out one by one. Temperature gradient dt by dx. Come on, temperature gradient dt by dx. What do you mean by dt by dx? Difference of temperature, I am taking T1 minus T2. Then difference of x coordinate, I should take x1 minus x2. What is T1 value? Come on, 100. T2 is 0 upon x1, x1 is 0, x1 is 0. If you take origin here, x1 is 0, and for this cross section, its x rod is this much, equal to length of the rod, that is 25 centimeter. x1 is 0, x2 is 25. x1 is 0, x2 is 25. Now 100 upon minus 25. 100 upon
Minus
it is
25.
minus 4. Unit of temperature right now it is degree centigrade. Unit of x coordinate right now it is centimeter. Fine. And what does this negative sign indicate? As you move in the direction of heat conduction, for every centimeter there will be decrement in temperature by amount 4 degrees centigrade. As you move in the direction of heat conduction, that is away from hot end, for every 1 centimeter temperature will decrease by 4 degrees centigrade. Temperature will decrease by
4 degrees centigrade.
Okay. Amount of heat flow. dq by dt. Say, speak out the formula. Minus ka dt by dx. Minus ka minus ka minus as it is. What about thermal conductivity? They have given 0.9 calorie upon second centimeter degree centigrade. Second centimeter. And because you are taking this value in calorie upon second centimeter degree centigrade, centimeter, that is CGS. That is, and this cross section area also should be taken in centimeter square. Should be taken in that cross section in centimeter square. They get 1.5. What about temperature gradient? You have found out. You have found out it is how much? Minus 4. Say minus plus. Answer is 5.4. Right now, unit of K you have written calorie upon second centimeter degree in calorie. Say, so this heater is measured in calorie, time in second. Calorie upon second. Everybody? Fine. And now the last one. Temperature at distance x. Look, temperature at distance x from this hot end. Let it be Tx. Let it be. Use this formula. T1 minus mod of dt by dx into x. T1 minus mod of dt by dx into x. Why this way? If you take mod here, mod, then from minus it will become plus. But you should remember, when you move away from hot end, when you move, temperature will decrease. Temperature will decrease. For 1 centimeter it will decrease right now by 4 degrees centigrade. That is by amount mod of dt by dx. By amount for 1 centimeter, if temperature decreases by mod of dt by dx, then if you move x centimeter away from hot end, then total decrease in the temperature would be mod of dt by dx into x. Mod of dt by dx into x. But that much is the decrease in this temperature, so T1 minus this. Come on, T1 will give you temperature at distance x. At distance, fine. What is higher temperature T1? T1 is how much? T1 is how much? Minus. Come on, mod of dt by dx. Mod of dt by dx will be, when you take mod, minus will come plus. So it is plus 4. Say. And this x distance you are given in the statement how much? You are supposed to find out temperature at what distance? So x is 18. X is 18 for the 72. 100 minus 72, that is 28 degrees centigrade. Got it? Understood this formula? We will start from higher temperature, but if you move away from hot end, temperature will decrease. So that is sure that from this temperature some amount will decrease. Some amount of will decrease. But how much amount will decrease? For 1 centimeter, temperature decreases by amount mod of dt by dx. Mod of dt by dx. And for x centimeter, it will decrease by amount mod of dt by dx into x. Come on, mod of dt by dx into x. Yes. Write down number 2. Whenever we join more than one slabs with their cross-sectional areas facing each other, then the whole formation, whole construction obtained is known as compound slab. Compound slab. If more than one slab are joined with their cross-sectional areas facing each other, then it is called compound slab. Here is a compound slab made up of 2 slabs. Their thermal conductivities are different. Thermal conductivities are different. Here I am taking K1 and here I am taking K2. These materials are different, okay? But cross-section area is same. What about temperatures at the end? Here T1, here Tx I am taking, temperature at the intermediate plane I am taking Tx, that is temperature at the contact surface, and the lower temperature I am taking as T2. This is greater than this is greater than this, okay? If I am asking you what is the temperature difference for first slab, you should tell me T1 minus Tx. Say, T1 minus Tx. Temperature difference for second slab, Tx minus T2. Wait. Amount of heat flow in the first slab I am taking dq1 by dt. In the second slab, come on, dq2 by dt. But these two will become equal. Will become Because dq/dt becomes constant once the body has achieved steady thermal state. So after the whole compound slab has achieved steady thermal state, after that these two heat flow become equal. Fine. This is said to be connected in series. One after another. Suppose you have got one slab, second, third, you are just connecting them one after another in a chain, in a queue. Then it is called series connection. It is called in third semester you will study equivalent resistance of a series connection. Equivalent resistance of it is nothing but simple addition of individual resistances. Simple addition of. First of all, tell me individual thermal resistances of these two slabs. Now instead of RH, I'll just use the symbol R. Okay? So what is the formula of R, everybody? L upon Ka. But cross-section area is same. So A is constant. For the first slab, instead of R1 I am putting R1. Instead of R I am putting Instead of L I am putting Instead of K I am putting. For the second slab, R2 equals to L2 upon K2. Now tell me, what is heat current? Heat current is H. H equals to Ka. H equals to Ka T1 minus T2 upon L. But you just find out H from here. H will be, come on, H is how much? T1 minus T2 upon thermal resistance. H equals to T1 minus T2 upon H equals to T1 minus T2 upon thermal. Okay. H is also dq/dt. So this dq/dt are written as it is. T1 minus T2 as it is, but now thermal resistance of this whole compound slab, it is nothing but series combination. That's why simple addition of two individual thermal resistances. Okay, and now tell me dq/dt as it is, T1 minus T2 as it is. What is the value of R1? Value of R1 is how much? L1 upon K1A. L1 upon K1A. Formula of R2 is how much? L2 upon K2A. L2 upon K2A. 1 upon A. Can you take common? 1 upon A, can you take common? Then 1 upon A. So denominator will be transferred to. So A into T1 minus T2. A into. What is that? L1 upon K1 plus L2 upon K2. L1 upon K1 plus. Now for first step. Only for the first step. Only for the first step. Now look. dq/dt. What is dq/dt? There is H. And what is H? H is this much. Correct? H or dq/dt. H or is how much? Temperature difference divided by thermal resistance. Temperature difference divided by temperature difference divided by. But you are talking about. So temperature difference is T1 minus T. Say T1 minus T. Upon thermal resistance of first slab, it is R1. It is. I repeat. H or dq/dt. H or it is temperature difference divided by thermal resistance. Temperature difference divided by temperature difference for the first slab T1 minus Ts divided by thermal resistance of first slab. It is R1. It is. Now tell me, transfer this. So dq/dt into R1. dq/dt into just write dq/dt only. Come on, dq/dt into R1. dq/dt and that equals to T1 minus Tx. That equals to I want Tx. I want transfer it. From minus it will become this T1 as it is, and this term from left side I just transfer it to right side will become minus. I just find out Tx. Okay. In textbook they have not done all this. They have written directly this formula. So you will not remember. Okay. Better you try to understand from here. Tx is T1 minus dq/dt into R1. This T1 as it is. Okay. Minus as it is. What is dq/dt? What is dq/dt? T1 minus T2 upon R1 plus R2. T1 minus T2 upon R1 plus R2. This R1 don't forget. Don't forget this R1. And now take LCM. Come on. R1 plus R2 is LCM. And find out. Just multiply here. Multiply here. So it is, come on, T1 R1 plus T1 minus T1 R1 minus plus T2 R1. T2. Now minus T1 R1 plus T1 R1 will cancel, giving you T1 R2 plus T2 R1 upon R1 plus R2. In textbook they have derived this formula. and after that they have gone for a very long method. Better you just try to remember these two steps. Very easy. And it is just divide every term by R1 R2. Divide every term by
R1 R2.
Divide every term by
R1 R2.
Divide here by R1 R2. T1 upon R1. Say
T1 upon R1.
check out T1 upon
R1.
everything is just written here. You have to make it confirm whether you understand or not. That's all. Divide this by R1 R2.
T2 by R2.
Here it is. Correct? Divide by R1 R2.
1 upon R2.
Divide by R1 R2.
1 upon R1.
1 upon R1. Correct? And now T1 as it is. Okay? What is formula of R1? Formula of R1 is L1 upon K1A. Formula of R1 is L1 upon L1 upon denominator will be transferred to T2 as it is. What is R2? R2 is L2 upon K2A. R2 is L2 upon K2A. So K2. Come on, 1 upon R2. Take reciprocal of this. Reciprocal of this. Come on, reciprocal of this. K2A upon L2. Everybody? K2A upon L2. 1 upon R1. Reciprocal of this. So reciprocal of this. K1A upon L1. K1A. Can you take A common? Can you take A common? Can you take this A also common? From numerator and from denominator. A will be getting? Getting? What is left out? K1 T1 upon L1 plus K2 T2 upon L2 upon K1 upon L1 plus K1 T1 upon L1 plus K2 T2 upon L2 upon K1 upon L1 plus K2 upon L2. I can make you remembering very easily. Very simple. Very funny. Very funny. Kantilal plus Kantilal upon Klal plus Klal. Speak out. Kantilal plus Kantilal upon Klal plus Klal. Speak out. Kantilal plus Kantilal upon Klal plus Klal. Simple. Simple na. K1 D1 upon L1 plus K2 D2 upon L2. Kantilal plus Kantilal upon Klal plus K1 upon L1 plus K2 upon L2. Now see the formula they have derived in the textbook. Kantilal nahi hota hai na? So you will find it difficult to remember, correct? But that formula is correct, huh? That formula is correct. And this formula is also correct. You can reduce that formula to this formula. Just do one thing, the textbook, like final formula in the textbook, you just write in the notes in the last page. Write down. Further I am just giving you instruction. You just write down that formula. Write down that formula. Written from textbook. Written? Listen. You have to divide on right hand side. Don't divide, just multiply. Multiply on right hand side. Multiply on each term. Say in numerator also in by what? By I am saying you K1 K2 upon L1 L2. K1 K2 upon do that. I repeat. Multiply only on right hand side each term in numerator and denominator by K1 K2 upon L1 L2 and denominator by K1 K2 upon L1 L2. Have you done that?
Yes, sir.
Getting this result?
Yes, sir.
K1 T1 upon L1 plus K2 T2 upon L2 upon K1 upon L1 plus
T2 upon L2.
What is that? This is very easy to remember. Correct?